happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. How y'all doing today? It's your girl Sharita, the behavior and learning strategist, coming at you from the Morgan Unlimited Growth Institute, where you can find solutions for your child's behavior and learning challenges. I got a good one for y'all today. I could not wait to talk to y'all today about this topic. Okay? So the topic today is if we argue in front of our kids, like what to do if we argue in front of our kids. Okay? That's the reality. As parents, we always try to have our little disagreements in private, but we're not always able to do that. You know what I mean? Parents are people too. Have feelings and miscommunication and disagreements. But we want to talk today about how having a disagreement impacts us and our children. And what do we do so we can take care of the whole family and get back on track? That's what we're going to talk about today. So comment below if you've ever had an argument with your significant other in front of your kids, how you felt and what you think should happen, or maybe how you resolve the situation. Comment below. Let's talk about this. The reality is there's a lot of kids that even go to school every day and they may be feeling uncertain. They may be feeling a little upset and worried. Okay? Things that kids commonly wonder if their parents argue. They wonder, is it my fault? Are we going to still be a family? Are they going to be able to talk to each other? You know what I mean? Where am I going to be? Right? Especially if you're going through a divorce. Okay? Kids have questions. Okay? Kids have worries. Or maybe they might be thinking about something else. Like maybe they know that on Fridays usually y'all have pizza together and watch movies. Are we still going to be able to do that? You know what I mean? So, and these are real concerns about kids. Meanwhile, the parents, you have your relationship, right? So you may be together, right? Or you may be co-parenting. But reality of it is you still interact with each other even if you are co-parenting, you're not together. And that there has to be some kind of connection between the two of the parents. Has to be some kind of bond or some kind of way to communicate. Have to still be able to communicate, right? That's the reality. So if you do have a disagreement and you separate for a while, that's what happens when we have disagreements. We always have to find a way to get back together, to sew everything back up, for the sake of ourselves and our own well-being, but also for the sake of our children who are looking and watching, because they are natural spectators, okay? They're always watching what we're doing and thinking about what's happening around them as far as adults, okay? And we set the example for them, all right? So what prompted me to bring this to you today is I was having a class with one of my students, and there was a couple arguing in the apartment next door, and he could hear them, and it was really loud, okay? And he had concerns about that, and it was very uncomfortable for him when adults are arguing. We have to understand when, and this is not to put blame or for anybody to feel guilty. Like I said, and this naturally happens. People have disagreements, okay? But we have to understand, like, something that we might feel, our emotions kind of get magnified when our children absorb like our energy, okay? So if we're upset or angry about something and we yell out and we're upset about it, our children absorb it, and it's like energy. It's like makes them really unsettled. You understand what I'm saying? So it might be something where we're arguing with each other, but we know it's all right. We'll get on track later. We'll talk later, and we're okay. Excuse me. We have that confidence about it. But our kids might not feel that way. Okay. And then if they go with these feelings and they have these thoughts and they have these worries and they don't get a chance to talk about it, and then they get up and go to school the next day. They go home, they go to bed, they get up the next day and they go, and they never got a chance to talk about this stuff or talk about what they're worried about or talk about how they feel. They carrying it on and on. It's going to affect them. All right. So let's talk. What do we do? What do we do? Okay. And I'm not talking about if to prevent the argument, because that's a disagreement, because that's a whole nother live. Okay. We could talk about that. We could talk about improving the connection between parents when you have kids, right? When how to still have a nice relationship, and we could talk about that in another life. So I'm not talking about how to prevent it. I'm talking about it has already happened. You've already gotten upset. You know what I mean? You've already yelled. Maybe there's the door that was slammed. Maybe one of you got upset and went and got in the car and drove away just so you could calm down. You know what I'm saying? These are natural things that happen when adults have arguments, right? And the kids see and everything. And for us, I'm just going to go calm down, drive somewhere and relax and calm down. For them, it's like, where's daddy going? Where's mommy going? Do you understand? So we're going to talk about what to do. Hello, Suzanne. Welcome. We're going to talk about just a couple of tips, and then leave your tips in the comment section as well for what to do to bring everybody back together, help everybody feel better, and then get back on track. Basically, how to recover from an argument or disagreement that you had in front of your kids, okay? So number one, you want to make sure that, first, when we first have an argument, you're not ready. You might not be ready to talk to your significant other when you first have the argument. You might need some time to cool down. But in the meantime, one of you or both of you, or separately or whatever, can talk to your kids and ask them, are you okay? I know you heard us yell. I know you saw us be angry with each other. Are you okay? How are you feeling? Ask them straight up, so that they can express how they're feeling in a moment, and then they will talk to you also and ask you questions or say things, right? Is daddy coming back? Oh yeah, he just went for a drive to calm down, and he'll be back soon after he relaxes a little. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. So so right away after you calm down yourself a little bit, even if you haven't reconnected with your significant other first yet, right? Or if you have a phone conversation with your, the other parent, your co-parenting, even if you haven't resolved that yet, we don't want to leave the kids in limbo, okay? So we want to check in with them and ask them, are you okay? How are you feeling? That's number one, to let them express themselves. Next, it's very important to let the kids know everything will be okay. Now, this takes some practice, okay? This takes some practice. You be in a relationship with someone, you have to learn how to, have disagreements and then resolve them and come back together and know that everything will be okay. You know what I'm saying? This is what usually happens, and then we're able to talk and get it together. If you're new in a relationship, or if you are having a relationship and you haven't worked on these issues, it might even feel to you like you don't know what's going to happen. So this is work outside of what I'm talking about in front of your kids. But if you get to the point where you have disagreements, you both are working on how to talk to each other, how to communicate with each other, how to reconnect with each other. You're already working on that. Everything's going to be okay. Right now, y'all just mad. You have to let the kids know everything is going to be okay. Okay? If your child is like, we'll still be able to do this on this day or whatever, you could say, right now, I'm not sure what's going to happen. If you're not, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I do know it's going to be okay. Everything is going to be fine. And if we don't do it on this day, then we're going to do it on another day. And we'll let you know. You understand? Let them know everything is going to be just fine. Mommy and daddy are going to be just fine. We're going to talk to each other again soon. We're just upset right now, but we will. Everything is going to be just fine, okay? That's number 2, because this is the stuff that the kids are worried about. Number 3, so important. Let them know it's not their fault. Kids, I don't know how many times I've talked to children and work with children, and the first thing that they do, especially when they're younger, is they will take something as simple as, I didn't clean my room when I was told, and that's why mommy and daddy had a fight. They would take something so simple, or I got in trouble at school. Do you understand what I'm saying? They will automatically make it their fault. And they do this even when it's something larger, like a divorce. You know what I mean? Separation. They will blame themselves. And I think, let me know what you think, this is their way to kind of get some control over the whole situation. Because when we're out of control, they feel out of control. You know? And when we don't understand what's going on, they feel the same way. Okay? So this is a way to like get them to bring it to themselves. Like at my level of understanding, if I didn't do this, mommy and daddy wouldn't have had this fight and this argument. Especially if they just did something and then they saw you guys arguing. It could have nothing to do with them and probably doesn't. But for them, that's their level of understanding. So you gotta let them know it's not your fault. Okay? You have to let them know that. And you also have to let them know that it's not your responsibility. Our feelings are not your responsibility. Sorry, the bathroom going in the background. I'm at home, y'all. Hand washing and everything. So let them know that it's not your responsibility. Our feelings are not your responsibility. Okay? That's very important to let them know that. The way we handle things is not your responsibility. Okay? And it's not your fault. And we both love you very much. Okay? So these are the concerns that kids are having, and we have to reassure them. Okay? Jazzy? Y'all go ahead in there and close the door. Thank you. All right. Right. So that's what we have to do. So first we ask the kids how they're feeling. Let the kids know everything will be okay. Okay? Let them know it's not their fault. And we both love you very much. Okay? Give them a hug. They need that hug. They need that hug and that kiss. Sometimes a hug is like all you need when you are upset about something, worried about something, you got this anxiety going on. And sometimes a good old hug is all you need to be like, and to know everything is okay and to feel safe. Safety is a big issue for kids when they see their parents arguing. Like it's like their whole world is like a rug being pulled from under them. Okay, so and then part of they see their parents, they see their mom, and they see their dad. Like half of me is mom, half of me is dad. They're their own individual people, but like we're a big part of who they feel they are themselves. You know, their identity. So it feels like themselves separating. So that's why it's very important to give them a big old hug. We both love you. Give a big old kiss. Take care of their feelings. Now you're doing all this, you might not feel good yourself. Okay, let's be real. Let's be real. You might be mad. You might be upset. You might have not had the communication you wanted. Maybe you didn't get a chance to say everything you wanted to say or feel listened to. You know, maybe you don't understand what in the world your significant other is talking about at the moment, right? You're going through all this yourself, so you might even feel like you're near tears. You understand what I'm saying? You trying to keep yourself together, and you're taking care of your child, okay? So while you're doing this, make sure you are taking care of yourself too. Make sure you're taking a walk yourself. And you tell them, Mommy, be right back. I'm just going to go cool off. You know what I mean? I'm just going to my room for a little bit, listen to music so I can calm down. You can use some coping skills right in front of them so that they learn themselves what to do when you get upset. You know? Take care of yourself. I think a big problem is a lot of moms try to handle all kind of stuff. Everything that needs to be done. The cooking, the cleaning, the homework, work, laundry, crises, you know what I mean? Disagreements and kids stuff and how to call from teacher and all this stuff. You try to handle all of that and just keep going no matter how you feel. It's okay to take a beat. It's okay to take a beat, take a break, and take care of yourself. Sit down and pour yourself a nice cup of tea or coffee, whatever you like to drink. This right here is ashwagandha tea. Now it's going to look like I'm doing a commercial, but I'm not. I just really love tea. And I wanted to take ashwagandha because it's very good for stress. And this is ashwagandha tea. And it has turmeric and ginger in it. And it's very good. And I am very relaxed right now. Okay? So you can pour yourself a cup of tea. You upset. The kids watching you and everything. You know what I'm saying? You can do this before you talk to them. Or you can do this afterwards. But make sure you take some time. Let me just show you how it looks. Isn't that cool? There's the little mix tea. I just got it yesterday. Make sure you take time and take care of yourself. You can't keep going. And you sitting here feeling like you're going to break down yourself, or you upset, you're going to cry, and all this other stuff, right? Next, reinforce the structure, expectations, and routine. I think a lot of people miss this. When we argue in front of kids, or maybe there's a life change that's happening, you know what I mean? Or something that's different in the routine, kids will kind of crumble a little bit, and they may also act out. They may act out because they feel a certain way inside. They're trying to get that feeling out. They may act out to bring the attention to them instead of y'all fighting with each other. You understand what I'm saying? Kids do that as well. So it's important to be there to take care of them, get a big bear hug, love, reassurance, and let them know, all right, bedtime is still, I'm going to come check on you, read your story, and give you a kiss and hug. You know what I mean? I'm going to check on you, or we're going to do this to take care of your feelings, but bedtime, this is, make sure you ready, because I'm going to call you for bedtime at this time. Or your homework still needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? Get the routine. Tell them, at this time we're doing this, at this time we're doing this, this time make sure this is this. After you reassure them, because, listen, kids really need routine and structure. It also makes them feel safe. They know what's happening next. If we're going through something and then we don't have the routine, or we don't tell them what's going on, and we're off and they're off, now they're kind of all over the place, and that makes them feel very uncertain. I don't know what's happening, right? So make sure that they understand that the structure and expectations, routines is still in place. You reinforce it, and then your significant other or their father or their mother also reinforce it. Y'all gotta figure out how to communicate enough so even when you have your disagreements, that you convey this to the kids, that as parents, we are united. We want the best for you. So we want to make sure that you're still listening, make sure you're still respecting your mom, you know what I'm saying? Dads, make sure that the kids understand that that's important to you. Even if y'all not together, that's always important. It's not even just about your significant others or their mothers or their fathers. It's about that too, but it's also for them. When kids are being disrespectful to parents, or not listening, or not following the structure and the routine, it doesn't feel good to them either. You understand? So we don't want, you notice how when kids are having, like, a child may be experiencing their parents arguing at home, and then they have behavior problems, and you're like, oh, it's because they're having problems at home, right? And that's the first thing we do, is say it's because they're having problems at home because the mom is a single mom, and they're going through a divorce and all this. We start saying that, but we don't talk about what how the parents that are involved can take care of themselves and their children at the same time if they're going through something. Okay, so we want to stop just blaming, and we want to provide a solution and understand what everybody's going through at the same time. Okay, so make sure both of you are on the same page at all time about their structure. Kids have their own little lives. We got to understand this, right? As a child, a child has their own life. They have their school, and their own routines and what's important to them and all that. That world has to stay together for them, their little lives, okay? So you make sure that that's together, and the structure, routines, expectations, that's still there. Next, talk it out and reconnect, okay? Somewhere along this line, you might do this. It might not even be in order. You might be able to do it earlier. You might, at this point, you're now doing it. But at some point, we got to talk to each other, okay? We got to calm down and have our time to calm down. And when we do, you know, when we have our disagreements and we separate for a little bit, we're upset and everything, we're going to stop being upset at some point and be able to think. So you need that time to be able to think and then reconnect and talk it out. And if you got to work on your communication to do that, you do that. Now, I know a lot of parents may disagree, or in parenting, you got to be able to come in. You can't do that in front of the kids, first of all, because they'll use that. But you got to be able to come together and reconnect about making decisions regarding the children, okay? Maybe you disagree about finances. That's something that y'all gotta work on. You understand what I'm saying? We all have to work on, and we have to come together and be able to communicate about that with everybody being heard and find a solution, okay? So whatever the disagreement is, at some point, talk it out and then reconnect in a way that's appropriate for you. If it's your significant other that you love and you've been together with for a while, or you know, or whether it's for a while or the beginning, whatever the case, you love this person. Remember why you love this person. They may have gotten on your nerves for some reason or other. Maybe the communication wasn't good. Maybe they wasn't listening. Maybe they arguing about something that, you know, whatever the case. Come together. Remember that you still love each other. You do love each other. You just had a disagreement. And disagreements are temporary. They're temporary. And figure out how to reconnect. And then when you're okay, the last thing to do, well, no, not the last thing. Next thing, now you want to hold the family meeting, okay? So you hold a family meeting. Now you're okay. Now you're back. You're united again. You've worked it out. You've talked it out. You were able to say how you felt and get your needs met. Your significant other or the other person you're talking to got to do the same thing. Now you're okay. You have to show your kids that you're okay. All right? So you hold a family meeting. Everybody you talk to them, and you talk to them now together as a couple. You again give them a chance to say how they felt. You again do the reassuring, letting them know it'll be okay, right? You also let them know it's not their fault. You're doing the same steps, but now you're doing it together, okay? And then reinforcing the structure and everything. If any kids was acting up during the argument time, it was a couple of days or whatever, right? Look, now I saw you. That's not how we're going to do. You gotta let them know, right? Shine a little spotlight on them for a second that this is not what we expect. So that's why and then when you're talking and they get to say how they felt, that's a growth meeting. It's growth for the parents individually and together, and it's growth for your kids too, because they're learning how, when people have disagreements, how you're able to resolve it, take care of yourselves, come together, reconnect. They're learning this from you, okay? And it's growth for, as parents, to be able to see our kids during everything. Because when you're really upset, you might not see anything. But we're able to see our kids and see what they're going through as well, and what they might be afraid of, okay? You get to ask their questions. So now we've learned about conflicts within the family and how our family, you understand, deals with conflicts. How we as parents deal with conflicts. How our children deal with conflict. And not, right? In your family, like, this is how we do. Well, my son, whenever we have a conflict, this is how he reacts. Well, our daughter, whenever we have a conflict, this is how she reacts. This is how I react. You understand? So how my significant other reacts, okay? So you're learning, this is how we react, and this is what we need to improve. This is where we need to grow. Learn all of that during the family meeting. So, and then the last thing is discuss the plan moving forward. So we now know next time if there's a disagreement, ... Okay? If you do this enough, then your disagreements won't be as intense, and they will be shorter, and the kids will feel better. They might know that their parents are upset with each other, but they know it's going to be okay soon, and then we're going to have our family meeting, and I still better listen, right? They'll know, okay? And another thing that's important, okay, is the type of disagreement that you have, or what you do when you get upset. Some of us are very expressive, okay? Sometimes it can be loud, right? And we want to work on that too, because if it's loud, that means that we feel like we're not being heard, and our communication needs to work. Whenever anybody's yelling, it's because we don't feel like we can get our point across and be heard. So while you're doing this process and learning how to communicate with each other, that need will get taken care of, okay? Then you will, not have the loud disagreements where it's like shaking up the house. You understand what I'm saying? So communication is good. But you may have a disagreement. It might be quiet. The kids weren't around when you had a disagreement, but they sure know you had one, because they see dad is downstairs on the couch. Usually mom and dad on Saturday, they both downstairs in the living room chilling out together, or they usually sit together. But now mom didn't even come downstairs on the couch. She's standing in the room with the door closed. Like, they know. They're spectators. They see everything. They get used to how we do things, or usually they give each other a kiss when mom comes in the house, or when dad comes in the house, or the significant other comes in the house. They give each other a kiss, but it wasn't no kiss today. They nosy. Kids notice everything. You understand? So it's like, even if this not allowed, we might think that we're doing good by talking to each other behind the scenes and being upset and being very, you whisper arguing. You just whispering up a storm, being angry with each other, right? And you're like, good, because I didn't do it in front of the kids. They know something is not right. So imagine you're one of those, couples who have the arguments disagreements that are very quiet. But for a while, for like a week or longer, you're walking around with this distance. That affects kids a lot as well. So it's good to make sure that we take care of them, we take care of us, right? Get everybody's needs met, communicate, right? Love on each other, be together, so kids not worried about their family splitting up, when that's not the case. You know what I mean? If that's not the case, it's important to do that whether you have a loud argument in front of them or a quiet behind the scenes argument that they never saw, because kids know. They know, and they are nosy, right? They are little spectators, okay? So that's it. I just go over one more time. Ask the kids how they're feeling. Let the kids know everything will be okay. This is you doing this like when you first have the argument. Let them know it's not their fault. Give them a big bear hug and tell them you love them. We say we both love you very much, okay? Give them kisses, all right? Reinforce the structure, expectations, and routines. They need that to stay on track themselves, because that could escalate the situation even more if they start acting out too. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then if you haven't taken care of yourself, you haven't reconnected with your significant other, now you're more likely to yell at them because you're still not right. You might overreact to what they're doing because you still haven't taken care of yourself. So we got to make sure we, you know what I mean? Reel them in, make sure everybody's straight, okay? And talk it out and reconnect. Or if you're not together, but you're co-parenting, talk it out and get on the same parenting page. We don't want y'all in two different books because you're angry with each other. You can't communicate. Always get back on the same parenting page, okay? And then hold a family meeting together and then discuss the plan moving forward. Next time we will. And here's another thing. Thank your children for telling you how they feel. As long as they're being respectful, you know, they not yelling at you and, you know, being disrespectful and everything. They have to learn how to talk to you, just like they have to learn how to express themselves. I know nowadays it's like, well, they're expressing because they feel like this, but kids still have to learn how to express themselves respectfully. And they don't feel good. We have to understand they don't feel good when they are off the wall, just reacting any way they want. Okay, it's not good for them either. Okay. Let them express how they feel, what they're worried about, and say thank you. Thank you so much for telling me how you feel. I appreciate that. Okay? And if there's ever another problem or if you feel anything else, come back and tell me. Make sure that door is open. That's how they want to feel safe. Anybody understand? Okay, so thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. And I'm going to get off now. I have a student coming right now. And I have a lot of students today, actually. All day. I have all my groups today. All right. So thank you so much. If you're looking for a tutor and coach to help your child improve behavior and learning at the same time, go to growthinstitute.mykajabi.com. That's GROWTH Institute.mykajabi.com. Or send me a message, all right? Love y'all so much. Believe in yourself. Believe in your child, honey. And always remember that growth is unlimited. Peace.